Hey y'all, it is Magnolia Money, and today is February 26th, and I wanted to give you guys some information on how to create a 927 rundown for your state, as well as giving you guys some information on how to get your date sum. I also wanted to give you guys the information on mirrors and flips, as well as showing you guys a tic-tac-toe base +1 and a base -1. So we're going to get started here. We're looking at Florida for this particular day. What you'll do is you will start with an odd, even, odd pattern. As you see here, you have your 927. You will write that down. What you will do next is find the last winning draw number for last night, which in this case would be 121. And you're looking for tonight's next winning number. This can also be used for your midday or things like that. If you have multiple draws during the day, you could use this same technique as long as your date sum still falls within the same day. So we're going to get to that information here in just a moment. But what you'll do is you'll take your last night's winning number and you're going to add it to what's at the top here, which in this case is the 927. And you're going to only keep what's in the right-hand side. So for instance, if you see 9 plus 3, like here, when you're adding, you're only going to keep what's in that right-hand side. All right, so 9 plus 3 is 12. You only keep the 2. So I'm going to give you an example. All right, 9 plus 1 is 10. All right, see how we only kept just the 0? We did not keep that 1 that came with it. All right, so 9 plus 9 is 18. See how we only kept the 8? What you'll do is you'll continue this pattern. You're just adding this number to the same in each one as you go. You're going to start with a 1. You're going to keep adding until you get back to that 1. All right, you're going to start with a 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. See how we only kept what's in the right-hand side with a 0? All right, 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. Repeat the pattern until you get back to the 2. Same thing for the 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. Keep what's only in the right-hand position. You're going to continue that until you get back to the 1. All right, so what you want to do next, after you have your 927 rundown, you'll want to start adding up what your date sum is. Then you're going to want to highlight that date sum. Now, to get the date sum, you add the, as you see here, the date of your next draw, which in this case would be pulled on February 26th. So we have February, which is the second month, the date, the 26th. You add 26 plus 2, it gives you 28, and you keep only what's in the right-hand side, that 8. All right, so then you go back over here to your 927 rundown, and you highlight all of your 8s. That gives you a starting point on where your next night's winning number is going to come from. Now, it may either include some of these 8s, or it is going to touch around these 8s. That gives you a good starting point. Now, another thing that you can do is also make sure that you know what a mirror and a flip number is. Typically, I personally don't use the flip numbers when trying to check for this here, but what I do is check for mirrors because these numbers here are going to play off as these. So where you might see all these 8s that are highlighted, it could indicate that a 3 is going to be played, or it could indicate that something around it, like say if you see a 0 here and a 5 here, it could be either or. So what you want to do is cross-reference that method with others so that you can narrow it down to find out what they are. Now, as far as your mirrors, what these are numbers where it's 0 through 4. You add 5 to it, and here's what you get. 0 plus 5 is 5. 1 plus 5 is 6. And you see how this pattern goes? Now, if you were to take and add 5 to 5, you're going to get 10, which means a 5 and a 0 can play as each other. So if you see, like I said earlier, if you see a 0 over here, you could also think, okay, it could be a 5. And you see it here, you think, okay, that could be a 5 as well. Or if you see a 5, you could see that it could possibly play as a 0. So those are what mirrors are. They basically just mimic each other. If you see a 1, it could be a 6 could be a 1. 2 and a 7 could be either or, 3 and an 8, and a 4 and a 9. All right, now flip numbers are different. This is where you're going to only add 3 to whatever your number is. So as you see, I've got 1 through 0 listed. All right, so you're going to start and you're going to add 3 to it. 1 plus 3 is 4. 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 3 is 6. And this continues all the way through, okay? So what you'll do is, like, if you find, like I said, for me personally, I don't use flips when it comes to checking these particular things here. I find it more simpler and easier just to use mirrors because that's going to help me better. But you can use flip numbers for your tic-tac-toes, and I'll give you guys an example here in just a moment. But what we'll do here is cover over, we will cover over this here with the base +1 tic-tac-toe. What you're going to do is take that previous night's winning number, which was 121. You're going to take your base number and place it right down the middle. So you'll have 121. All right, then what you're going to want to do, since this is a +1 tic-tac-toe, you're going to want to start at the bottom number, and you're going to go counterclockwise, okay? And you're going to add 1 to each one of them. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. You're going to come over here because you're going to already have this number filled in. So you're going to go 4. You're going to skip it and go to 5, 6, and 7. All right, so then you would have a complete tic-tac-toe board. All right, the next thing you want to do is you can come over here and create another one, and you're going to have a base number, 121, which is your previous night's winning number. And you're going to subtract 1. You're going to say, you're going to basically just pretend like that's an 11 minus 1 will be 10. You, like I said, you only keep what's in the right-hand side or the ones position. So you would have like 11, 10, 9, 8. You're going to skip that one, go to 7, 6, 5. And again, you're going to always go counterclockwise. All right, now I have these empty here, and what I'm going to show you guys is this. All right, if you want to go a little further on creating some tic-tac-toe boards to cross-reference this with this to find your most common numbers or to see what's played more often, like for instance, you have a 722 that is played heavy in this one, and then here you see a 611. So that indicates to me, if you're using your mirrors, that a 6 or 1 or a 2-7 is a high probability that it could be coming out for the next night's winning number. With that being said, I would then go to my highlighted date sums and look around them. All right, I see a 7 and a 2, so that means that there's a possibility that that could play. I see that there's a 6 lined up with it. It could be 6, 7. It could be 1, 2. It could be like down here, you have your 7 near this. You have your 6 here. Like I said, it could be a 1 and it could be a 2. But those are just different things. What you want to do is write those numbers down and kind of cross-reference with other methods and eliminate accordingly. I have another method I'm going to show you guys at the end of the video that I use to determine what my base numbers usually are for the next night's draw. But you can take your flip numbers here. So say you want to flip this number, 121. Okay, say we're going to flip that. We want to know what is going to take place of that 1. So we come over here and we look at this chart. We find the 1, we add 3 to it, it is a 4. So you guys, we're going to take and we're going to, like what you would do, would place a 4 right here. Okay, so you would have a 4. And then here you have a 2. So we're going to come over here and look for the 2. 2 would be a 5. All right, so you would have 4, 5, 4. All right, now we have the 4, 5, 4 written in. So what you're wanting to do now is do just like you did with your base number, where you have your base. In this case, you have a flip number. Again, those flip numbers are right there. You will then take and add 1 going all the way around counterclockwise. And then over here, since this is your subtraction, your minus 1, you will then subtract 1 going all the way around. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we have those written in. All right, so you see where we started with a 4, we added 1 to it, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, and on here, this one, we went 4, and this is the subtraction of 1. So we went 3, 2, 1, 0, 9, 8. All right, so basically what you're going to do at this point is just look to see what your most common numbers are, see which ones play the most often. As you can see here, 9s and 4s play heavy in this one, and this one here, you see 9s and 4s that play heavy. Your next heavy numbers on this one would be your 8, 3, and your 5, 0. So what I would do is just write those numbers down out to the side, and then try to come over here and find those particular pattern of numbers and see what's going to play. So again, like I said, you start with where your highlighted numbers are, and usually what I try to do is I try to find one that's set up in a pattern. All right, so like as you know here, you have an 8 in the center, and here you have an 8. Underneath it, you have a 0. Here you have a 0. All right, here's your 7. If you mirror that, it comes to a 2. So you just basically take those particular positions and look around it to find what numbers match up with what's here, keeping in mind that you are using mirrors, because every state will use a mirror number, especially if there's going to be doubles. You know, you're gonna find, like for instance, if it was to come out like 2 2s or 2 7s, you would see that the 7 and the 2 played with, you know, next to each other here. And again, that's how you would mirror it right there. So one final thing I want to show you guys on this video is for Florida, I have a grid. Now you guys have probably heard me talk about the grids and stuff on this channel before, or how to make a grid. That's actually in my Cash 3 playlist on this channel if you want to know how to make this. But I'm going to give you guys a real quick tutorial here on this. What you'll do is you will take the last 5 winning numbers. You can either do it one of 2 ways. All right, this particular grid here is actually on my website at magnoliamoney.net, along with, as you can see, I have other states as well. But what you'll do is you'll take the last 5 winning numbers. All right, 121, 495, 255. You have 768, and then you have 889. These are all of the last night's winning draws for the last 5 days. Those are for the evening draws for Florida. Now, you can either do it that way, or you can actually take the last 5 consecutive draws, which would include your midday, morning, whatever your state has. But either way, what you will do is you will come in and you will add 1 all the way down, and then you're going to subtract 1 from whatever number's at the top until you get back to the repeating number. Then you're going to add 1, and then you're going to subtract 1. You're going to do this over and over until you get all the way to the end. There's 15 places here because that's 15 digits worth from the last 5 draws. What you'll do then is take and find your most current night's winning number, which is the 121. You will highlight it inside the grid. Once you have it highlighted, you will then begin to look around those portions to see if the following night's winning number is going to touch or use those particular numbers. So for instance, this is just giving you guys just like eyeballing it here. So if I see this right here and I see that the 1s and 2s obviously were heavy because it was a double, say that, you know, we were talking about earlier with the rundown here, we were looking at 2s and the 7s. All right, so say if it's going to be like 7, 8, that could mean that it's 2, 3. You know, we discussed about the mirrors. So say, for instance, if we're looking at that, look, there's your 2, 3. It could be 2, 3, 9. It could be 2, 3, 4. It could be something like 2, 0, 6. It could play off something like 2. Here's a 2, 3, 9 again. You have different numbers here. You have 2, 2, 0, 2, 3, 0. You have, it could even so much as to repeat the 1 and the 2 again if it wanted to. I know Mississippi has done that quite a few times here lately. They repeat those exact same numbers the following night or just a few days later. So say if you wanted to use like 512, you could have those types of things. And like I said, this is how I find my base numbers, is by using this. And if you check out the grid video, it gives a more explanation on how to create them and how to kind of more so about what to look for. So with that being said, guys, I'm just going to recap one more time here on the section here. So we were looking at those numbers on the grid. I'm actually going to slide this to the side so you guys can kind of see a little side-by-side action. All right. So what you'll do is you'll take, you know, you say that this is a 3. You see that the 2, the 4, and the 0 all play. So that's the things that you're going to want to look for over here. I usually start here on the corners and then figure out my numbers and then slowly maneuver my way through to the next highlighted areas. But if you ever see a grid that looks like this for Missouri, that means the grid reset, which happens about every 4 to 6 weeks that I've noticed in a consistent pattern, especially for the state of Mississippi. So if you're in Missouri and you're watching this, your next night's winning number is going to fall underneath this section here. All right, you're basically, you've only got this one little section here that it's going to repeat in, and it will use mirrors, and it will most likely come off of the date sum, which is going to be 8, or its mirrors, which is going to be 3. So I would be looking in this area right here if you're in Missouri, because your winning number is going to be in that area. It's either going to flow to the top or it's going to flow to the bottom. So you're going to want to check that out. Like I said, all of these grids, I actually have quite a few of them. They're all listed on my website at magnoliamoney.net. Also, guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. I do post these videos from time to time. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up because I wanted to try to keep it short. But if you guys have questions, let me know. I'll do my best to answer. And good luck, everybody. And I will see you all soon. And go get those wins, y'all.